Okay, in this video we're checking out the AMAXinno Freestyle 5E frame, and this is what they came in this little paper bag. This is it's the 5E because the arms are 4mm thick. I think the other one is 5mm thick. I'm not exactly sure, but this is some interesting carbon. It's my first AMAXinno frame on the channel. It's got this kind of matte, shiny finish. Very clean. No carbon dust. I can't see any there. All the cuts are really nice. There's a very slight amount of chamfer on the arms. Not a whole lot. The top and bottom plate are 2mm thick, and also no burring or splinters. So this is really well cut. This bottom plate is also 2mm thick. And then there's this little sandwich plate here. This is 1.5mm thick, and yeah, again, there's a little bit of a chamfer on these, so there's really not that a lot of sharp edges. You get these other plates here. This is for your camera mounting, and this one goes in the back. I think it's a vertical plate for mounting like your VTX, something like that. You get a bunch of other nice parts here. Some little I guess looks like some silicone motor dampening, vibration dampening rings, and you get some nylon standoffs and screws and some spacers for mounting your stack hardware. You get this foam pad that goes on top for your battery, and some foam feet here for the under the arms for landing. Of course, you get the obligatory sticker, pretty nice. You get this explosion diagram that explains where all the parts are and how to put this together. It's pretty straightforward. It goes together like most other frames. Obviously the design's pretty similar. There's some minor tweaks there, and they have a listing of all of the screws and parts and how many there should be, so very nice there. And some more photos or more diagrams here on the back on what the completed frame should look like. And then all of your hardware here is provided in this nice little bag and separated, so it should be pretty straightforward as to what goes where. I do like the system, pretty nice. And I think the standoffs here are 28mm high. They do advertise this as a low CG frame, so I guess we'll see what that's like later on when I fly it. Okay, so something important to be aware of is that there's these grooves that are cut out in the top and bottom plate, especially for the back area for this little piece that's going to go vertical. You want to make sure that you have this oriented correctly, otherwise you're going to have to take it apart, and otherwise it's not going to work, because on the other side there's no grooves here, but it's only on one side, so beware of that orientation. And so yeah, that's just for all of these little vertical pieces that hold the VTX, I guess, and the camera, so beware of that. Okay, so here it is all together, and a few things to note is that these camera side plates you can put on two different slots, and you can see there's a second slot that's further out, that's for full-size cameras, and the one on the inside is for the 19mm micro-sized cameras. Now the holes on these M3 holes on all the parts here are really tight, so the screws, you have to actually screw them into the carbon, so it does make the assembly a little bit tricky, especially with these pieces have to go into the grooves here, so you're going to have to tighten these down. They do slide around a little bit, so I'm not sure. I'll have to figure out what to do about that. The back one seems to fit a little bit better, it doesn't slide around too much. It's pretty straightforward if you follow the diagrams as to what screws go where, so you can see pretty straightforward in terms of the frame. And yeah, I like the fact that there's not a lot of cutouts in the battery area, so you can put a nice like a sticky pad here for holding it down. Alright, so and here's the weight of the frame without any electronics. It's coming in just over 100 grams, so yeah, it's a pretty light frame for a freestyle frame. Anyway, it's going to do it for this video on the frame review. I will have a build video on this pretty soon, more like a build overview. I'm going to build this out. I've got some parts for this ready to go, along with the new AMAXinno motors. I think they're 2207, I think they sent me. That'll go onto this frame with some other stuff, so stay tuned for that video, coming up pretty soon.